All right, ladies and gentlemen, Loralee Humphreys is about to come on in just another minute here. Make sure you stay tuned because we're going to bring the fire, and she is a powerhouse helping you ignite yourself. Before we get there, let's dive into the sponsor message of the day. This is brought to you by Burn Up Coaching and the 21-Day Challenge. If you're an entrepreneur or a high achiever, you're feeling stuck, overwhelmed, lost, or you're just not fulfilled. I love working with people who just don't feel fulfilled. They feel like they're trying to fill a hole and they don't know what to do to fill it. There's something missing. If that's you, send me a message. Let's talk about the 21-Day Challenge. 21 days of high performance, high achievement, one-on-one accountability coaching, getting clear on your goals and your dreams, breaking them down into bite-sized steps, having daily routines and actions so that you can succeed like never before. I would love to help you. Send me an email, chris@beyourgps.com, or find me on Facebook and message me and let me know you're ready for your 21-Day Challenge. Let's talk about the iTunes review of the week. By the way, if you are loving this show, go to beyourgps.com/iTunes and subscribe. And also feel free to leave us a review while you're there. We appreciate the feedback. Queen Sawyer is the review of the week this week. Love this podcast, Queen Sawyer says. Every single episode is filled with great advice and actions to take. I love it. Thank you so much, Queen. I appreciate you. And if you want to give us that feedback, beyourgps.com/iTunes or search Becoming Your Greatest Possible Self on the iTunes or podcast store and let us know what you think, what you love, and what you want to see even more of in the future, what you would change, and just share some love. I appreciate you. Now, we are going to introduce Loralee in a moment here. Before that, though, grab your pen, grab a paper, grab something to really buckle yourself in, because this is going to be an epic interview. Loralee is going to share the gold, and you always want to make sure you stay till the end because you started this podcast, and you want to be a finisher, number one. And number two, you never know what one idea can transform the rest of your life. So stay tuned all the way through. Let's introduce Loralee and bring her on the show. Loralee Humphreys teaches coaches, healers, health and wellness advocates how to apply the keys of mindset, mediation, and marketing to build a successful online business. Meditation is important too. She can help you go from feeling disconnected and at odds with yourself to becoming more present and grounded in your body so you can attract the success and prosperity you so richly deserve and fulfill your destiny of helping the world. Can I get an amen? We definitely need some help in our journey of serving and living our purpose. For nearly 2 decades, Loralee has practiced massage therapy, meditation, aromatherapy, and energy healing. She is a Reiki Master, health and wellness coach, and mindset and marketing consultant. And she is here today to bless us with some awesome, beautiful energy and wisdom. Loralee, are you ready to rock this?
I am.
Yes! We're now live on Becoming Your Greatest Possible Self. Thank you for being here and coming to share some valuable wisdom in your perspective. And you got so much goodness to share with the world. So thank you for being here. I appreciate you.
Oh, thanks for having me. Love to be here.
Awesome. So let's dive right into the theme of the day, Loralee, which is clarity equals power. How does that show up for you in your life? What does that mean for you?
Clarity. Well, you can look at that in a lot of different ways. Mm-hmm. Clarity for me, you start with clarity first of who you are, what you're about, where is your right place in the world, who are you here to serve. So once you have that, then you can create a straight line of integrity, I call it, from the top of your head all the way through your body of who you are, what you're about, how you take care of yourself, how you speak, how you interact with others. And so once you have that, then everybody knows who you are, what you're about, what you're there to do for them or help them. And so that's just creates a very strong, attractive energy of presence that I don't think we see enough of in this world today. And so when we do find people who have that clarity, that integrity, that alignment with themselves, then we're just naturally drawn to them, and we listen to them and we follow what they say, we buy their products and services, and on it goes.
Wow. So if you want to be a successful entrepreneur, get that clarity, have that line of integrity, aligned integrity. Is that what a straight line of integrity? That's awesome. I've never heard that before. That's super powerful.
Yeah, it comes from a term from body work. When I was in massage school, then we were learning about some deep deep tissue work.
Yeah.
And the idea of integrity means that the joints of your body stack up in a straight line from your ankles to your knees to your hips, shoulder joints, your spine. And so once you have that strong, solid pole, then, or in alignment, then it's strong. Nothing can bend it, nothing can tip it over. Wow. And so you're in integrity because you're in an alignment stacked on top of each other, or that your joints are stacked on top of each other.
Wow. So cool. Loralee, we're going to dive into all this beautiful wisdom that you have, body work, marketing, mindset. Oh, so much good stuff. Before we get there, let's talk about who you are, what you stand for, and what do you serve your clients with?
Well, where do you want me to start with that? Okay, so who I am a spiritual being, creator, sovereign spiritual being here to assist people in recognizing that themselves, or that within themselves. And from there, inspiring those around me and who I work with to create a new world. As we all know, this current world has many problems. And so the more we can understand, again, who we are and what we're about, what we're here to offer, what our message is, and claim our co-creative abilities, our innate abilities to manifest and create and intend, to come together and stop fighting,
please,
then we can create a new world.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Wow, it's so powerful. I love how you started off with, a spiritual being and your own sovereign, your own sovereign source and self. And that's something I really love. And you're here to be that example and teach other people that as well. That's definitely in alignment with my own statement of purpose, so to speak, for my life. It's like to awaken my source, to like activate it, to be it, to embody it everywhere all the time. And through that, connect other people with their source, because like in reality, we're all connected, we're all like so deeply connected. So to activate myself and activate the people around me is like one of the highest things, if not the highest thing that I can do in this lifetime. So I love that you do that too.
Oh, thanks. We're in alignment.
Yes. I love alignment. So, Loralee, let's dive back into the journey. How did you become this master with so many, awesome, like parallel and adjacent fields that came together to make you this powerhouse today? Where did it all begin for you, Loralee?
Okay, well, it begins as most people's journey begins, in the pit, the dark night, the darkness, the unraveling of the ego, of who you think you are. And when all of that inner unraveling happens, then your outer world unravels and falls apart too. Wow. So when I was in college, then I had my unraveling moments. And it ended up being quite severe for me. I was raised in a very regimented, very strict religious environment that dictated many, many things. And once I had an opening, I guess you could call it, I had my degree, my bachelor's degree is in art, fine art. And the environment of the art department that I was in at the time, it was very interesting because there was just this window of time when this certain cluster of kids went through that challenged and questioned everything. And I just happened to fall right in the middle of it. Wow. And so those were my peers. And there's a couple of faculty members who also encouraged a little, to the degree that they could within that college environment, encouraged questioning. And so that just really opened up my mind and fueled a lot of questioning, that coupled with some of the experiences that I had had on my own in a particular summer in between college years, that just really ended up unraveling everything of who I thought I was. Wow. And then questioning everything, the environment at school, the conversations that just took it further and introduced me to a lot of different ideas that I'd never been exposed to before. And so it was the great unraveling as well as the great exploration time at the same time. And that's just part of the natural archetypal hero's journey of waking up. Yeah. Everyone goes through that in one point or another, in one way or another. And as a sidebar, I would say that we as a collective are in the process of going into the dark night of this collective soul that we need to deal with. Wow. So anyway, I had all of that upheaval and shifting and going on for quite a while through my college years. And the end, when I came out of college, then I was like, what am I going to do now? I had this piece of paper that I spent thousands of dollars on, and I really didn't have any true life practical skills of how to support myself, how to make my way in the world. Because of all of the unraveling and everything that I had just gone through for the previous 3 or 4 years, I really had no confidence at all. Like, none. And I was also, just from birth, growing up from birth, I've always been very shy and very introverted. And so whenever people would talk to me, if I was in the center of attention, I would turn absolute beet red. And I couldn't speak for anything, and I got very uncomfortable, and everyone around me got just as uncomfortable. Yep. So it was just kind of miserable for everyone involved. And so I had to learn how to feel comfortable with me.
Yeah.
And that took many, many years. And so at the bottom of the barrel of that period of time, then it was before the internet, kind of dates me. All I had access to at the time were books from either the school's bookstore, or when I could go up to, I was living in Utah at the time, when I could make it up to Salt Lake into some new age bookstores, and I literally would just grab everything that called my attention. So I read all kinds of topics, all kinds of things, and eventually I was introduced to some friends who taught me or introduced me to a philosophy meditation group in Salt Lake, which is what really helped start putting together the pieces of my mind, myself, my life, to start laying a foundation. And that's where I learned the beginnings of our co-creative innate capacities to manifest, to create things. And so going further down a few years later, through all of my studying and finding books, then that's where I was first introduced to energy healing and like psychic spiritual awakening. And it was so different. And yet there was nothing that rattled the insides of myself more deeply than that. Wow. I mean, it was just so interesting to me because it just grabbed me. And I just knew that was the type of work that I desperately needed, and that would really, truly put me back together again, because I was literally not really functional.
Yeah. So you went through this period of like questioning everything in college, which you question, why am I here? Like, what is life really for? Like, what does this all mean? And like finding your purpose, finding the momentum, the motivation for your life, for your source, tuning into that. Hey, where am I supposed to be going? What is this really all about? And so you started reading, and it was through reading and discovering energy work that you really, like, when you were in your process of discovery, and after your world had been shaken, you're on this like kind of unstable footing of like, what is life all about? You're like, I'm just looking for something solid. I'm looking for something that really resonates with my soul and my source and my core being. And so it was energy work that really called out to you, and you're like, this is it. This is something that I can really dive deep into and trust and have faith in, that it will carry me whatever distance it's supposed to carry me in this lifetime. Would you say that that's about accurate of the journey?
Yeah, the journey, and just to kind of reiterate the depth of the questioning, because literally everything that I thought I knew to be true, everything that I was raised to believe about life, myself, about spirituality, about people, everything just kind of crumbled.
Wow.
And so with the discovering about energy healing work, then I knew I needed that. And at the same time, in the town where I was at the time when I was living, then that was not really readily seen. It was before, now you hear of Reiki Masters or healers, they're all over the place. Yeah. It's more mainstream. Back then, in that particular town, it was like, say a prayer and do a cross.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so it literally was 7 years of asking before I finally met a woman who was my teacher and who could do that work for me. And that, I cannot express not only how grateful I am for her role in my life, but all that she taught me, all that she did for me.
Wow.
I studied with her for like 7 years or so, for quite a while, to really put myself back together, to understand energy work, opening up intuitively, psychically, learning to meditate.
Yeah.
And on the coming out from a lot of that initial work, that's when I decided to go into massage school. Because I wanted to give back and to do this realm of work in some way. And I felt that under the massage license, or as being a massage therapist, then that gave me a way to do the spiritual healing work.
Yeah, I love it. And as far as finding your teacher, your mentor, your coach, the person who trained you, what was it about her that had you know she was the right fit for you? She was going to help you grow in the ways that you wanted to grow.
Well, she was. So I had in college a friend of mine, when we both finished, and she ended up getting a lapidary shop, of crystals, of jewel repair, of rocks, and I would go in there from time to time to see her, and she would tell me about this woman that would come in to get rocks, and that did energy work, and that could see energy, and how she had done some energy work a little bit on my friend's wrist, and how it helped her feel better. And at the time, I was just like one of the lowest points of my life, and I'm like, is this ever going to shift, or how would I ever learn how to do this? And when she told me about that there's a woman in the town where we lived that did this work, I'm like, oh my God, somebody exists like this.
Yes.
So I'm like, I have to meet her.
Yeah.
They're really real. So they're not just in books.
Right. That's awesome.
That was the big eye opener. And then 2 or 3 months or so later, then I was there when she was there, and I was just like, I have to work with you. I need this work.
Wow.
And so it just began.
Beautiful. So you worked there for about 7 years. She really trained you through the basics and the foundation that you needed to learn, I'm sure, as well as more advanced concepts too. And then you brought those to massage, and you did the massage work for a while.
Yeah, so it was like bringing the non-tangible into the tangible form.
Yeah.
So once I learned about the energy system of the body, the mind, psychological, spiritual connection, the untangibles, and the emotional healing work, then you've got to start grounding it. You've got to start connecting it with an understanding of the body, since we live in a body.
Yeah.
And so that's what massage therapy helped me with, is start to connect all of that, to understand the mind-body connection, a relationship, and how to work with both, and how our energy really is anchored within our body, and how when it gets kinked up, what happens in our life, in our psychology, our emotional makeup, and I mean, that's a whole body of work.
Yeah, that's powerful. So how did you evolve through massage and bringing the intangible to the tangible, and helping people with their traumas and past and stuck energy and their own pain and suffering? How did you evolve from that? What was the next phase? Because today you're doing the marketing, the mindset, and also mixing in wellness with that. How did that evolution happen?
Yeah, it's a totally other line of work from where I started. So I've done massage and body work for a long time, and just learning how to read the energy, read the body, and really work with that. And so I've done that for a long time, as I said. And as I became more connected with my own self and understanding my own body, and still learning from my teacher, that's when I first started understanding the importance of diet and food.
Amen.
And because at first I was like, I don't even want to deal with that stuff. It's all body work, physical stuff. I just wanted to stay out in the ethers.
Right.
But the more more I became more aware of my own body and the necessity of taking care of it.
Yeah.
Then that introduced me to further things like a little bit of herbs, essential oils. And then at one point that I was like, okay, I'm getting a lot of stuff together, but I feel like I'm missing a few pieces to be able to offer people some tangible stuff that's going to make a difference in their life. And I thought, do I go back to school? Do I do another, what do I do? What's that piece?
Right.
And so one time I was here in Las Vegas, then I was able to listen to a man named Don Tolman. I don't know if you've heard of him. Love the man. He's very well versed in nutrition, whole foods, plant-based diet, and he spent many years traveling all over the world learning about what older cultures knew about health and wellness and nutrition, especially the Western culture, which much of that history and tradition of health and wellness has been destroyed or pushed under the rug because of drug companies.
Yeah.
And so he's got this mammoth science book called The Pharmacist's Desk References. It's literally like a Bible.
Wow.
And so being the bookworm that I am, then I went through that, and that was an eye-opener, such an eye-opener of the basic principles of health and wellness, of diet, of taking care of the body, and really furthering my understanding of the mind-body connection. And so from that, I was like, okay, I need to add in more nutrition stuff. And at the time I was living in Northern California, and there's a school there where I was at called Bowman College of Holistic Nutrition, one of the best ones that I've come across. So I went through that. That took me a couple of years to become a nutritional consultant so that I could wrap everything together of the mind, the body, the diet, the lifestyle, everything into a holistic view of your life, of how are you doing yourself, or how are you doing your life, taking care of yourself. Again, going back to always, we're spiritual beings. How are you comfortable living in your body, being with yourself? Because if you don't have that foundation, you can't do anything very effectively out in the rest of the world. You're just not.
Yeah.
And so I've always come back to that.
Wow. That's powerful. Yeah. So you saw this path of, like, just recapping the journey, college, questioning, everything like fell out from underneath you. You're searching for answers. You discover energy. You're like, boom, that's energy and awakening, that kind of thing, and awareness, body, meditation. And then you discover your teacher, and she teaches you for about 7 years. And then you go through body work and massage for a while as well. And then you notice, hey, there's an extra piece to this, which is the nutrition and the wellness. And then you dive deep into that. And that is, a part of your journey, a phase of your evolution as well. Yep. And then from there, this is perfect. And then from there, what had you get into the marketing and mindset?
Okay, so with that, then once I finished my nutrition school to become a nutritional coach and wellness coach, then I'm like, okay, I need to learn how to do business.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was moved back to Las Vegas, and I had hired. So when I was in California, I also did a lot of courses and trainings and seminars and stuff about the coaching industry and doing online marketing, because I've always wanted to do online marketing to free up the time, the location, the money freedom. Right. So when I came back to Las Vegas, then I had all my little ducks in a row. Okay, I'm ready. I'm going to be a nutrition coach and healer. And so now I'm like, how do I go share my message?
I got all this wisdom, all this gold.
What do I do with it?
What is it? How do we get it out?
Exactly. And so I had, for the first couple of years, I was here in Vegas again. Then I'd hired 2 different business coaches. And they gave me some good pieces. And then now looking back, I can see there were also lots of holes. And one of the biggest holes for me they didn't ever really address. They would always talk about the sales conversation of how to close them once you have somebody in front of you. And my question was, well, how do you even get somebody in front of you to have that sales conversation?
Exactly.
The jump in the gun.
Yep.
So that never really was answered. And so I was doing a little bit of stuff on Facebook and figured out some technology, self-taught technology of how to do a website, how to build a landing page, autoresponder, all that stuff.
Wow.
So I was like, how do I market myself? I had no idea, literally none. And so I just got, after several months, I was just come to another dark moment of like, I don't know what I'm doing with this. Do I just huck it and throw it on the shelf and, just do massage? And then I'm like, that's not satisfactory either. Financially, it doesn't work. I'm still trading time for dollars. If there's nobody on my massage table, there's no income. Right. So it was another dark night. And so after a few months of that, then I'm like, what do I do? Yeah. And then I had a friend of mine that sent me this little booklet in the mail and talking about a company that we're both belonging with essential oils. And this little booklet was all about creating residual income. And I was like, that's the answer. Yeah. So I've got another piece of this new puzzle put together of residual income and the importance of it and how it literally does free up your time and energy in your life so that you can really live and do your mission and affect people because you've got your solid financial foundation set. You're not tied to a time clock. So that was an important piece. And then a few months after that, then she introduced me to another associate of ours that was all about social media marketing. And I was like, oh, I have to go into this stuff again. I put all that stuff on the shelf 2 years ago. Do I have to go back into all of it? So I'm like, okay. So I pulled all that off the shelf, learned how to I've spent a lot of time in the last year or so learning how to really connect on social media, build an audience, create content, talk to people, going back to how I told you I was like shyer than anything and somebody would look at me and I'd turn beet red. Right. And then being an anonymous face in a massage room, not having much conversation, going from that literally to 180 to go from that to having my face splattered all over social media, running my mouth.
Yep. Building an online brand. Good. Yes. You gotta, when you build that online brand, when you put yourself out there, you really have to break through any kind of insecurities about being seen, being heard, being, all of that, being present and being connected with people.
Definitely being present. Yeah. And so that's been the latest thing. And so out of all of that, again, that I've gathered more resources, all kinds of trainings and resources and things that I've learned so far about how to do social media, how to be seen, grow an audience, promote, all of that stuff. The foundations that if you don't know how to do that, you won't make money. No. It's just the way it is. And so that's kind of where I am at the present. Yeah. So I've got all these different quadrants of life put together and how to create a life that you love.
Yeah, that's powerful. And for the people who come to you for marketing guidance and building their social media presence, where are they typically at along their journey in terms of what they've tried and what they haven't?
Most of them, I think, are pretty much at the beginning. They've done, picked up. There's so much free stuff around online. Things going over here, picking up that little tactic, that little idea, and so you kind of put together a hodgepodge of things, and then you try them out, and it's you kind of floundering like you've been thrown into the deep end of the pool trying to swim. Yeah. And so that's where a lot of people are at, and also I'll see people's pages, and they'll be pitching their stuff on their profile, which totally turns people away. Yeah. And so that's where I think a lot of people they don't understand how to do basic things to really create interest, create an audience, develop relationships. Yeah. And it's an ongoing thing. You're always refining it.
So where do we start with that journey, and where do you typically advise those people who are just getting started and they have like a couple of tactics that they've picked up but no cohesive strategy that's actually producing income and clients for them? Okay.
So basic instruction, which so many people, marketers, tell you to do is like, what are you about? What's your message? Yeah. What group of people do you want to speak to? Right. And that can always be refined and be molded over time. Yeah. So once you have that idea or that basic thing down, or even like, what are you comfortable about speaking about? What are some of your favorite topics that you love to talk about? Like for me, I can talk about massage, or I can talk about energy healing all day long.
Yeah.
Because I can do that in my sleep.
Yeah.
I do it in my sleep. So it's like getting a couple of conversations or topic like that you can talk about, that you feel comfortable with, and then going, for example, on YouTube and say, who else is talking about that conversation? And look for the people that are like kingpins they're called. So people that already have a good audience, a good following on their channels, several thousand people. Some channels have several hundred thousands.
Yeah.
And so when you see those kind of numbers following that person and that topic that they're talking about, then you know within that community there's going to be people who are willing to spend money.
Yeah.
You just have to go find them and get to know them.
Yeah.
And so once you can identify that, then you go over onto other places on social media like Instagram, LinkedIn, here on Facebook, and find those same people and start jabbering it up in their feeds, comment on what they're talking about, joining in the conversations, looking at who's following them, and building conversations with them. Okay. And then from that, then you can just take the conversations offline, on phone, here on Zoom, however you want to do it. And eventually you're going to get a following. And then the next thing you've got to have set up is a place to lead them, a place to take them to. ManyChat is the bot and Facebook Messenger that's becoming real popular, and the trusty old email list.
Yep.
That's not dead. You've got to funnel everybody into something so that you can continuously build a relationship with them and talk to them. Because you can talk to somebody now and they may say no, or you don't know really how to present it in a way because you're still learning, but you don't know 2 years later, if you developed a relationship, they'd say yes to you. How are you going to follow up with him if you don't have a structure? So you've got to have either the ManyChat, the email, both,
right,
as a way to continuously manicure your audience and send them things to train them or to teach them, let them know about what you have, who you are, and then occasionally drop offers. So.
Wow. That's powerful. So it's like, first off, knowing who you want to speak to, what you want to talk about, then go find those people in conversations, groups, on different people's pages and platforms, and then put out content that educates them, that creates connection with them, and then get them onto your email list or ManyChat and continue to nurture that prospect into a buyer over time by giving them quality content and great stuff that has them grow in the direction that they want to become their best self.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And awesome. It's something you've got to keep in mind. This is not the one-hit quick fix at all. If you're in it for the long term, you've got to look at it and approach it from that. It takes time to build out all of that stuff and learn all of those skills, especially if you're beginning. Yeah. There's technology, there's relationship skills, learning how to get over your fears of talking to people. You've got to learn how to write copy. You've got to know your products, your services. I mean, that's a lot of stuff which any entrepreneur's got to deal with. And so don't get too much in a hurry and think you're going to get it all put together by next month.
Nope. Do you find that a lot of people often have that microwave mentality and quick fix? They want the instant gratification. And if so, how do you respond to that? How do you transform that mindset?
Yeah, I think in a lot of ways we all have it, and it shows up in different ways because it shows up in so many different areas of life, from creating health to getting over a fear to making money, everything. And so I think a lot of when I talk with people like this or about this, then I'll just have to say, or I do say, it's like, what is your end result? What is it that you're willing to really dig your feet into and really build over time? And again, it comes back to how solid are you in who you are, what your message is about, how important is that to you to get it out to the world. Keep focusing on that and keep plugging away, because there's going to be the ups and downs in everything. Yeah. And so as long as you know your bigger purpose and reason as to why you're doing it, then you'll see past the shiny bright objects and the squirrel syndrome.
Yeah.
And the more you do it, the more experience and perspective you get, so that you can identify the squirrels sooner and not get all wrapped up in them.
Yeah, I love that. The swirl. That's takes people down. So, Loralee, one of the focuses that you have as well is mindset, and I'd love to hear a little bit more about the approach you have with mindset to empower people. Where they've falling short besides quick fix. Where might they be making some mistakes with their mindset and with self-sabotage, or keeping themselves stuck? Where do they stop themselves?
That's kind of a broad question.
Yeah.
So, from my experience with all of the work that I've done, whenever you run into something like that, if where you're being stopped, then it's multifaceted and multi-layered. And there's the conscious story that we tell ourselves, and then there's the unconscious stories, and then there's the truth. And in order to find the unconscious stories and the truth, you've got to connect with your body, because that's where that information is stored. And so, are you familiar with Dr. Joe Dispenza?
Yes,
or
definitely.
Greg Braden?
Yep.
Okay. So, several years ago, there was the movie that came out, What the Bleep, that introduced a lot of these mindset principles. And when that came out, I was like, oh wow, there's something to really explain to the Western mind, all of these techniques and principles and mindset stuff that I've been studying and learning about for years and doing all the energy healing work.
Yeah.
It's just giving it a scientific terminology in a way that people can understand. And so that's one of the reasons why I love Dr. Joe Dispenza, because he does that. So in unraveling the mindset, then you've got to look at what's really underneath the rant, the story that you tell. What's the fear, the emotional charge that's keeping that story stuck within the tissues of your body and in your mind and in your neurology. And then learning to do some meditation work, some introspective work, some journaling, using essential oils to support the shifting of the chemistry of your body, which you need to do in order to make the shifts of habit, to shift your neurology so that you can move from the story that you've been telling yourself into the reality of what you want to create for yourself.
Yeah, I love how you said essential oils, because I feel like every breakthrough or transformation coach needs to know, like, they could 10x the amplification of the impact and the depth at which they're able to break people through their stuff and create a new reality, a new paradigm by using smells and oils, because it's the fastest, most powerful connector to the brain, right? Like the olfactory senses is the fastest way to trigger and to embed a memory or an experience or a sensation or emotion into ourselves, so that we keep it longer, or to clear the past memories if we want to do that. Absolutely.
And going back to just referring to Dr. Joe Dispenza and how he explains it, is that everything is chemistry when it comes down to it. So when you have a feeling, then your body makes a chemical. When you learn a habit or an action, like riding a bike or driving the car, your neurology, your nerves, your muscles know how to do those actions, and it forms grooves, so to speak, in your neurology of how your nerves wire together, fire together, stay together.
Yeah.
And one of the things that glue them together are the emotions, the chemicals of the emotion. And so when you are breaking a loop, for example, if it's self-confidence, there's the thoughts that go along with it, there's the feelings, the emotions that go along with it, then there's the neurology. And when you introduce essential oils, clean, pure, high-quality oils that are not adulterated with other chemicals and solvents and GMO garbage, when those pure chemicals of the essential oil are introduced to your body, then they can work on two different levels. The first one, energetically, is they can have They affect our emotions. So let's say, the feeling of joy or confidence, of empowerment, that has a certain frequency or vibration. You can get oils whose frequency matches the frequency of that emotion.
Wow.
And so that helps boost your mood, boost your emotions up to that higher state so that you can hold it there long enough for it to form a habit so it becomes comfortable. And then the second way that they work in your body is the base chemistry of breaking down the chemicals of feeling uncomfortable or feeling non-confident, of shifting how your nerves talk together, how they glue together with each other so that they can unravel it or disconnect and reform new connections according to the new state of being that you want to develop.
Yeah.
You follow that?
Yep.
So it works on two levels.
No. That's powerful. My gosh. So for people to actually put this to use, where would you recommend that they start to get access to this transformation right now? If they were to take an action from this interview, what could they do right away?
I can share that where I source my essential oils from, so they can contact me about learning about those. There's a whole body of work. There's a community that I'm with of learning how to use the oils in those ways for self-transformation. And then also to get a hold of me, you've got my website, LoraleeHumphreys.com. And then I also am offering all of you and your audience a gift of a Shift Your State meditation. So when you get that, then you're on my newsletter, so you can stay in touch with me more and learn more about what I do and what I teach and what I offer.
So is the fastest way then the meditation? Would you say that that's one of the most powerful ways that people can get instant access to shifting their state, their mindset, how they show up in the world?
Yeah, I'd say grab that PDF or grab that gift I'm offering. Yeah. And it's, again, going back to knowing about meditation, in order to shift things within your life, you've got to go below the conscious mind. You've got to go into the subconscious mind, which is your body intelligence. And meditation is the doorway or the route to get you there, to make those changes energetically and emotionally.
I'm curious. I've talked to a lot of people about Vipassana meditation, which, you go through 10 days of silent meditation. And then there's also, after, they recommend you do an hour in the morning and an hour at night. I have heard that also just an hour in the morning is one of the most powerful ways to get centered and to make yourself a clear channel for source to come through and be your greatest possible self. I'm curious, do you have any other recommendation of the meditation structure? Because I know Joe Dispenza has more of a guided meditation and purposeful meditation than just clearing and silence and being still.
Yeah. So my understanding of meditation is that it addresses both the right and the left hemisphere of our brain, or the way in which masculine consciousness develops and feminine consciousness develops. Okay. So my understanding of Vipassana, that is one example of a tool that can support the development and growth of masculine consciousness. When you're looking at masculine consciousness, masculine energy, what helps that aspect is emptying, is silencing, of closing out all of the chatter. And so a lot of the modes of meditation that we're familiar with is kind of like that, of silencing your mind, not chasing after all of the bunny trails of all of the thoughts. And who can really do that? Or seriously, or focusing on a mantra or a candle or on a single point. Yeah. That's very beneficial for strengthening and developing masculine consciousness. Who needs to be able to focus on a task, on an outcome or an objective until it's complete, which ties very well into creating what we need to do for business, staying focused until the job's done. Yeah. Okay. So that's one tool for helping that. Another, and then you've got the other side, which I don't really know too many people even put it this way, of the development of feminine consciousness,
wow,
which is body-based. It's all about flowing, being open to receive money, receive love, receive abundance, to receive life force coming into you, into your body, flowing through your body, so that you can also radiate out that life force, that light, that love, so that you're an attraction magnet for people, places, opportunities, money, da 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 da.
wow.
You know?
Wow.
So to develop the feminine consciousness, then it's working with the body and looking at where do you shut down and close your heart, close your musculature of your body. Where are you not allowing love and light and life to come into you? Because those areas that you're crimping and cramping down will show up in your relationships and your money flow and your ability to have a successful life. And so by having meditation structures to support your development of feminine consciousness, to get you into your body, to look at what's the energy, what's the condition, what's the state of the energy, how to transform that energy frequency into a higher one. That's the type of energy work that I've done, or meditation work that I do. And guided meditations are an example of that kind of a tool. Okay, it's kind of a long answer to
I love it. No, that was gold. I've never heard this before. This is awesome. This is so cool.
Good. You're using new stuff.
Yeah, it's because, like, you know, we've heard of, you know, being quiet and being calm, you know, just sitting for 10 minutes, 15 minutes and doing that meditation or an hour or whatever. And then we've also said, hey, go listen to the guided meditation. Go listen to the thing, the visualization process. And I think it's so fascinating that there's a distinction between the two and how they impact and affect, you know, our life and our life force and the flow of our life and the creation ability that we have. It's fascinating.
Yeah, and where we're both made up of both of those energies, those qualities. You can, if you don't like the gender name, then find another one. The basic principle is, can you focus, and how open to receive love are you? And so how are you developing those qualities? And so, yeah, we all have that.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. So you said that one of the things that you do is you have a meditation that people can access. I think that's going to be a huge resource. We'll talk about that in a couple minutes, about how they can get to that. But as far as, like, what other ways that you can support people, what else do you see coming up for you recently? What are you really inspired helping people with?
So I talk a lot about what I call the gifts of plants.
Ooh.
The gifts of plants. Essential oils are one of them. They come from the plant, the essence of the plant, which is, you know, benefits us in so many ways. Another gift that plants offers us is nutrition and food. And so one of the things that I was recently introduced to was the ability to look at what your body needs genetically and pair it with whole foods that really are unique and customized to you. So within the genetic structure, then there's little things called SNPs, and they're the things that determine, you know, like how tall you are, your color of your eyes, your hair, you know, just your basic makeup of your body. It's very individual. Nobody has that but you. You're the only one that has your fingerprints. Right. And so whatever's in your genetic structure, it's you. No one else has that. And so there are things that we inherit from both parents, one or both parents, that can determine how well we process vitamin B12, for example, how well we can make energy and have the energy metabolism to run, how we deal with inflammation. So the SNPs in there, if we have some of those SNPs, for example, that say that our body has a hard time absorbing and using vitamin B12, wouldn't you think that would be good to know, so that you could take care of it nutritionally with supplements that can support that, so that your body can use the vitamin B12 more efficiently, or deal with inflammation more efficiently? So that's something that I've recently been introduced to, of how you can a way in which you can have your genetics analyzed so that you can you can receive your own individualized, customized nutrition.
Wow.
Again, for a healthy body, to feel comfortable in your skin, enjoying being you, so that you can live the life you're meant to live.
That's awesome. Is that different or similar to like a food allergy test kind of thing?
Yeah, it's different.
Different.
It's different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
So with that, with using the gifts of plants, the umbrella of nutrition with essential oils to support you, then you can go out and do your thing, share your message.
Yeah. Yeah, because we gotta be fueling the quote unquote machine. I don't like to call it machine. It's very masculine and like rigid, but we're like a living being, body, vessel. With the right nutrition, then we're really able to live our purpose and be our highest self. And over your years of, learning about energy, learning about the body, learning about mindset, and also, the business aspect as well, you have like a huge source of wisdom and mixing and matching and pairing together these geniuses that you've developed, multiple geniuses and wisdom to be able to really serve people wherever they are stuck at. And I think that's beautiful.
Yeah. So when I talk to people, then I kind of get a sense of like, what do you need?
Yeah.
We'll open up my drawer of tools
and
help you with whatever it is that I can offer you, because I have several different resources, from meditations to the plants to marketing materials.
Super cool. I love it, Loralee. I love it. So if there was any final pieces of wisdom or gold that you want to share with our audience, now would be the time. What do you want them to really receive and take action on because of this interview?
I would want people to really understand that they truly are sovereign spiritual beings. That we have been so misguided in the world that creates so much trauma and abuse and confusion and hurt and argument and all the nasty things, that if you can just step back long enough, use some of the tools, like some of the things that I've mentioned, of resources I've used, and really learn who you are. What you're here in this life to offer. What group of people are you here to serve? And really, really do the inner work required to understand that at a very deep level, so that it becomes non-negotiable. So that you understand, so that you know within you, I'm doing this thing, I'm offering this thing to people because I feel that that's what I'm here to do. And I will do it my whole life. Whatever way it shows up or looks in this phase of my life, that phase of my life, but it is my life's work.
Yeah. And
just get in touch with that and commit to it and spend your life doing it.
That's right. That's right. Live life ignited. I love this. Loralee, this is so much fun. And people want to know how they can continue their journey with you. Let's recap the different ways that they can get involved with you and continue their journey.
So there's my website, LoraleeHumphreys.com.
Okay.
You can find me on Facebook, Loralee Humphreys. The Shift Your State meditation guide and a little instruction booklet that walks you through how to do a meditation. Grab that, enjoy it, practice it, put it into use. Yep. And that's my gift to you. And then once you have gotten that, then you will have access to my newsletter to stay in touch with me, to learn more about all that I'm doing and all that I'm offering you.
Awesome. Awesome. I love it. I love it, Loralee. Love what you're doing, and we definitely have to get together soon because you are awesome. You're spreading so much light in the world, and I love the diversity of what you've learned and your wisdom and how you bring it all together and communicate it. It's really, really inspiring, and thank you for the work that you do, helping people discover their own source, their own purpose, and be their greatest possible self. You're awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I've really enjoyed chatting with you.
You're welcome, Loralee. We'll see you soon, okay?
Okay. Thanks.
Awesome.